Hi, my name is Andrew Jobson. I am a third year, and I am Filipino and white.
Hi, I'm Nicole, and I'm a recent graduate of UC Berkeley, and I am ethnically Chinese and Korean.
Hi, I'm Byron Mazir, and I'm a third year. I consider myself French and Filipino.
Hi, I'm Sarah Reed. I'm a first year here at Cal, and I'm a Chinese-Irish mix.
Hi, my name is Nico Kita. I'm a second year, and I'm half Japanese and half white.
Hi, my name is Sarah Levine. I'm a fourth year, and I am Korean and white.
Hey, my name is John Knox, and I'm a sophomore at Cal, and I am Caucasian, Hispanic, Native American.
Hi, I'm Joseph. I'm a second year, and I am mixed. My dad is Indian and my mom is white.
My mom is half Chinese and half Filipino.
I'm sort of seeing, I guess, more of this struggle that I have being able to exist in different spaces and like what, for example, like maybe back home I might appear more like Filipino and might try to act like I'm more Filipino. But then here I feel like I could be considered like a lot more white. I sort of represent white people. I think it's a struggle of trying to figure out when do I act more of one thing, and when do I act more of like my other half.
My first 2 years at Berkeley, there were just some experiences that I had where I felt very isolated from the Korean community, and I was really hurt by it because it was something that I was trying to learn more about because I am a quarter Korean, and it was something that I never really thought about learning about in high school. And so coming here I was like really excited to learn more about that part of me, and instead I think I faced a lot of rejection and isolation from that community, and so there was a lot of just bitterness and anger in me from that. I didn't want to associate with a community and a group of people who were exclusive in that way, and so I really began to dislike that part of myself.
I feel that mixed people share a lot of struggles, not being accepted in one group or the other if they're biracial or multiracial.
So growing up, there was a strong Chinese community in my hometown as well as a strong Caucasian community, but there weren't a lot of people who belonged to both groups. And as someone who identified as both Chinese and Caucasian, it was a struggle for me to find my place. So coming to Cal, and especially attending the mixed conference, was really valuable to me because I got to interact with people who were mixers like me.
So before the conference, when I was surrounded by primarily white culture, I would identify more with my Japanese side, and coming to Cal, being surrounded more by an Asian culture, I identified more with my white side.
So to be honest, before mixed, I was kind of tired of having the conversation about being mixed. I thought I had explored a lot of my ethnic identity. I do feel that I experience the world as a Korean American because of the way my mom has raised me, and I just feel very comfortable in Korean American culture, and so that's why I never really felt excluded by the Korean American culture. But my white culture has been more of a mystery.
Because when people look at me, they say, oh, you're just white. And sometimes implied in that is white people have no culture. And for both distinctions, I would say that's wrong. Sometimes I find myself trying to prove my credentials for having culture by saying, oh, my grandparents' first language is Spanish, or my aunt and uncle live on a reservation, an Indian reservation in New Mexico, or my grandfather and his friends like played the bagpipes and knew Gaelic. Things like that help identify me as having some kind of culture.
I guess I always kind of knew I was multiracial, and I always considered myself, at a young age, both my parents told me I'm Indian and I'm white, and so I always considered myself fully both. Only at times it was where it was cooler to be one or the other, I would embrace that one more and consider myself that. So if suddenly it was cool to be white, I'd be like, I'm white. And if it was cool to be Indian, I'd be like, I'm Indian.
It's like my mom is Chinese and she's Filipino, and one of us And I think something that I learned was that like she really had to choose between being Chinese and Filipino, and she could never really embrace both sides. And so I think that kind of led to her raising us in a way where she almost wanted to keep that Filipino side, and so I never really embraced my Chinese side. Yeah, having to realize that like I am Chinese is just weird.
It's been so long.
Our speaker, who was Korean and white, and so her dad was white, and she just kind of talked about how it was really hard for her to at least appreciate her father culturally, and just like what he had to offer. And I think I kind of had a lot of sort of the similar thoughts towards my dad. Kind of a stereotypical like white person, there's nothing really to be valued from your culture, and I'm not really going to get anything from your culture, so maybe I'll just not really think about it too much. I can learn to value the ways in which my dad has just, I guess, reached out to my mom like cross-culturally, and just been somebody that he has been able to take on like aspects of my mom's culture, and then in the same way, he's not forcing anything on my mom.
One was just being with my small group leader because we actually found out that we are the exact same mix. We're both 3/4 Chinese and 1/4 Korean, and both of our dads are half Korean and half Chinese, and our moms are Chinese. And so that was really cool just to actually have someone to look up to who was like me. And the other thing that I took away from MiXED was when we had some time just to get prayer, and Sarah Fong prayed for me, and what really stuck out to me was when she said that grieving is okay, and it's okay to admit that you were hurt, and it's okay to like feel that hurt, because that's the start of the healing process. And I realized that that applies to so many other aspects of my life, not just to my ethnicity. I didn't want to feel the pain or the hurt that I had gone through. I actually hadn't started the process yet because I was just too afraid of feeling that pain and feeling that hurt and that rejection all over again.
I saw it give way for people to really let out what's been a burden for them. Finding out like that mixed people do have a place, I think that really touched a lot of people's hearts.
During the conference, our guest speaker, Erna, talked about the story of Moses and how he was someone from multiple cultures and how he struggled with that initially, but he was created in that way by God, and he had a purpose for his mix. And seeing my multiple ethnicities in that light was really helpful because it inspired me to think of this through God's eyes and how he created me to be this way intentionally.
So something that Erna brought up during one of her talks was that as being a person in the mix, we can choose to identify with one side more than the other. And one of the specific examples that she gave is when you're filling out applications, it asks you to check all that apply. Either put certain situations if it seemed like Japanese was going to be a more beneficial ethnicity for me to choose, or being white was something that was more beneficial. I could choose that box instead of choosing both or choosing the other one. And she really challenged us as to whether these kind of situations were from Christ, and whether by choosing one, it's almost denying the other half in a certain way, not allowing. Not accepting the person that God has made me to be.
So at MiXED, I received prayer twice, and the first time that I received prayer, I was praying through new issues that God was bringing up in me about my mixed identity, and the person praying over me said he got this image of me as the bleeding woman that touched Jesus' cloak and was healed. The second time that someone prayed over me, the woman got the same image, and that was super crazy and super comforting because I started to understand that God was really pursuing me at this conference, not in just in areas of my ethnic identity, but in all areas of my life, and just telling me that, yeah, I may have these struggles and questions for years and years, but if I believe that his touch can heal me, then yeah, my faith will heal me. So that was really cool to hear from God.
I feel like having to prove myself isn't something that God intends, because we're not fractional people, no matter what our ethnic makeup is, but God wants to say that holistically we're people that have significance in a diversity of like cultures and a diversity of expressions. God's made me diverse, and also He's made me singular. So I'm not a fractional person, and I can really live out a life that reflects that.
I think I came to the realization that I am both, but I should not be only one of them at any point. And so I should remember that at all times I am both. And if a certain scenario, it turns out that being white is not cool, I am white. And if it's like not cool to be Indian, then I should also be, I am Indian. And remember that I'm both, and not just pick good times to be one or the other.
It's something that I'm still learning to do with, and what it means to be Chinese and Filipino, and to fully be both instead of, oh, I'm more Filipino, so I'll just be Filipino. I'm still learning what it means to be really both. What does it mean for CCF to really be a cultural community? Learn to love not only our culture, but the cultures of others. And